Let's talk movies. Hey y'all, welcome to The Real Value, where we recap, review, rate, and evaluate all things real, all things watched. I'm Cal, your horror pal, and today we're going to take a look at several films I've seen over the past week and answer the question of if you should waste your valuable time on them or not. Let's get started. First up is a reboot of the 80s cult classic, The Toxic Avenger, starring Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon, and Elijah Wood. Now, I never saw these movies as a kid growing up, and I still haven't seen them as an adult, so what you're getting is a fresh set of eyes on the franchise. What's interesting is this film was set to come out in 2023, but rumor has it that it had trouble finding a distributor because of one mysterious producer saying it was so violent that no one would release it. Luckily for us, they finally found a distribution company and we can see it in theaters now. However, after learning of that fact and seeing the movie, I'm like, well, why? Nothing to me was so over the top, concerningly gory, or out of this world violent that would warrant such a warning. I mean, we've had Terrifier 3 come out since then, and hell, one scene alone in that movie puts this entire one to shame in the violence department. Plus, in this iteration of the Toxic Avenger, they use so much CGI that isn't the best, mind you, that it kind of takes you out of it anyways. Now, maybe that was an artistical decision, I'm not sure, but I would rather have seen more practical effects during the movie, but that's just me. The acting was good. I mean, Peter Dinklage is always masterclass, Kevin Bacon has fun in his role, and Elijah Wood plays another creepy character as he's wont to do during this stage of his career. I love how Elijah Wood and even the Harry Potter kid, Daniel Radcliffe, after starring in their own blockbusters in their younger years, now get to go on and play these fun, out of this world characters in all their movies nowadays. Much respect there. Other than that though, I will say this film had some good jokes that landed really well, and more often than not, you'll find yourself laughing rather than squeamish because of the supposed too violent, over-the-top nature of the film. This one was real mid for me though. Just kind of like, okay, yeah, that was fun in parts, but it didn't really leave me wanting more or anything like that in the end. I don't know if there were any callbacks to the originals because again, I'd never seen the originals. If I had to base my wanting to see them on this film, I'd more than likely pass. But let me know in the comments below, should I watch the original films? Are they worth my time? Because I'd say this one isn't necessarily worth yours. That brings me to our next film of the bunch, Trust, a thriller starring Sophie Turner. Turner plays a television actress who's just had her private photos and texts leaked to the media. So in response, she decides to get away to a remote Airbnb for the weekend. Here she runs into trouble as some not too honorable men decide to break into where she's staying to find some things they can steal and sell. The film starts off good. You connect and sympathize with Turner's character and ultimately root for her during the entirety of the film. However, what you think is going to be a revenge type of flick when these men break in and you think maybe they're going to do something brutal to her that would warrant her seeking them out and getting her due, but that quickly deviates and becomes more of a black comedy type of film. For the most part of the movie, Turner's character is locked in this one room, so you think, okay, maybe it's going to be about her escaping this room or surviving until someone saves her, and it kind of is, but there's no real excitement during the entire time she's in there. Ultimately, I don't think the director really knew the direction they wanted to take this movie in, and that led the film into this weird middle ground territory that was more than anything just kind of boring in all honesty. It's not horribly bad, but nothing stupendous stands out either. I'd equate it to the type of film you'd watch on a rainy Sunday when nothing else was on TV or the streaming services. Real mid for this one as well. Next up, House LLC Lineage. Now this was the 5th installment of this franchise, which I was a latecomer to, but I binged the first 4 movies in 2 days in preparation for the final film of the series. All were written and directed by the same guy, Stephen Cognetti, so you'd think there'd be more cohesion between the 5 films. I'm here to sadly say there is not. The first House LLC came out in 2015 and was set up as a found footage film. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of found footage, but I like a good one. They're hard to do, I will say. You either love them or hate them because they're usually either really good or really shitty. Having said that, after watching the first one in the series, I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it a lot. It wasn't perfect, but as found footage films go, it was creepy, unsettling in parts, had passable jump scares, and ended on the right kind of notes. The second and third ones, not as strong, but still fun. The lore gets a little goofy, but if you decide to suspend disbelief and just go along with the ride, you can still have fun with those, in my humble opinion. But no, the acting and story aren't as great as the first one. The fourth one kind of rebounds as they take the setting to a new haunted place, whereas the first three were shot in what's known as the Abaddon Hotel. The fourth one goes to a place called the Carmichael Manor. It's a different setting, but you soon find that there's still a connection between the two places, and that ultimately ties the whole franchise together. But that brings us to the fifth and final installment of the franchise, House LLC Lineage. Now, I don't know what the writer-director was thinking with this one. Maybe he wanted everything tied up in a nice, neat little bow, and he couldn't get his vision across in the found footage style the first 4 movies were shot in, because this one is shot as a standard film. I found that weirdly unsatisfying. Why would you do that? Now, I know a similar thing happened with the Blair Witch Project, but that was part 2 at least. You know, they hadn't done 4 other found footage film type projects. Part 2 went into a more standard style of shooting, but even that had camera footage that was cut into the film to give us a sense of found footageness throughout. This one just went straight standard for the entire movie, the entire 5th movie of the franchise. I don't know, I just found that strange to do at the end of your 10-year story. But again, that was just an artistic direction I don't agree with, I guess. The acting, unfortunately, didn't help either. It was pretty rough throughout, and the story got so convoluted. By the end of the film, after the last scene, I was left saying to myself, what the fuck just happened? Like, I'm still not really sure what I was supposed to get out of the 5th film. I was very disappointed as a new fan of the series. House LLC Lineage was real rough, y'all. But I suggest you see the first one. It was real good. On to our final film review of the show, and it'll be the shortest and not too sweetest as well. The 2025 film Run. I advise you all to run away from this movie. It is not good, like, at all. The acting, atrocious. The story, ridiculous. The CGI, laughable. The plot centers around a group of women who go off to have a girl trip at a cabin in the woods, and then the world gets attacked by aliens, so they too get attacked while staying at this cabin in the woods, and it's just so bad, y'all. I walked out of the theater halfway through. It was a real regret of mine that night. I hope my reviews have helped y'all decide which films were and were not worth your valuable time. Regardless, I always suggest you see them for yourself and decide, and then let me know if you agree or not with my takes and why in the comments below. Okay, that's it for me today, folks. Remember to be nice to each other out there, and if you can't do that, at least don't be a dick. Peace.